tastes like candy. He never wanna play me. Blaise Moet what they name me. And I'll never let no bitch shake me. Bottoms up with no chaser. These other hoes you fucking with basic.
Hi, welcome to Moet Gets Me Talking, where we pop the cork and let the conversation flow. It's your girl Blaise Moet, and as always, if you're new here, I hope you stay. If you're a subscriber, welcome back. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe so I can keep this type of content coming directly to you. Okay, so we're gonna get into the Ultimatum, Marry or Move On. Right now they're on season 3 and they've just wrapped up the entire season. The way that Netflix drops their shows and the way that we all kind of watch on our own timing, I genuinely like to just watch the whole season and then pretty much give my take on it. So I found this article on Vulture. It's gonna kind of help me piece everything together. So first we're gonna start with the couples as they came, because you know, obviously you watch the show, they come there with their couple, you know, they come there coupled up and then they pretty much break up. They go to a mock marriage with someone else after they've dated for a couple weeks. They pick the person, do the mock marriage, and then boom, they come back together, do the mock trial marriage again, and then they decide if they want to marry or move on. So for me, after watching this season, I honestly feel a little bit like I understand the concept of the show a little bit more. They really like to gear into like being uncomfortable. Excuse me. So I'm not putting any clips. Just to be completely honest with you, YouTube cracks down on copyright for everything, and so I'm not putting any clips in here. I am just going to be talking about what's happening. So yeah, the whole show is about being uncomfortable. Essentially, a person issues someone else an ultimatum, and then basically at the end of this process, they either should be able to get married to the person or they should move on. And so I feel like it's a lot of guts to issue the ultimatum, because you're basically saying that you're so tired of waiting and like you're so fed up with them not moving forward in your relationship that you yourself are even willing to throw the towel in, because it's not a guarantee that they're gonna actually propose to you and be engaged to you. You know, they could just be like, I'm not ready to be married still, and now y'all are broken up. So obviously we all know about the mid-season twist, how couples left. Honestly, just to not even just talk about it too much, it's always a couple that's like cop out, like they're just together because there's nobody else to match with, honestly. I don't believe that everybody has a person there that they're compatible with. I don't think that the show is that diligent when they find the couples. So it's always gonna be one or two odd men out, where when they're dating, they're not gonna find somebody that they actually like. So let's start off with Mariah and Caleb. So Mariah's 24, Caleb's 29, and Mariah, she initiated the ultimatum. Caleb's hesitation with her is basically like, he doesn't like the fact that she can't explain why she wants to marry him. Mariah is just the type of person that's like, oh, if you know, you know. And Caleb isn't comfortable with that, because he's feeling like, do you really want to marry me? Am I your person? Or do you just want to be married? So moving on, Zaina and JR. Of course, there was rumors that they weren't really in a relationship, you know, that they just got together to be on the show. After the show, when the reunion happened, that kind of debunked it, because they both were given a lot more emotion. But Zaina's 32, JR's 33, and JR was once married. He actually has, like, his father's a pastor, so he got married really young when he was about 22, which isn't super young in my eyes, whatever. He got married when he was 22 to his teenage sweetheart, and they got divorced because she stepped out on him. And so that's his big, that's his big hesitation when it comes to getting married again, is that he doesn't want to be cheated on again, which is so funny because everybody, you know, now we all have seen that clip, but he was running around here like this was a hard pass. So it's almost as if he didn't heal from that experience of being cheated on, and he kind of wants to get back at his ex by just cheating on someone else, which is so unhealthy, but that's what it gives. And so what a better better opportunity than to do it on a show where it's technically a hard pass and you technically won't get in trouble for it, right? So moving on, Nick and Sandy. Nick is 38, Sandy's 27. Pretty much it gives that Sandy liked Nick since she was younger. And so when she wasn't as mature herself, and then as she's grown to be this mature 27-year-old, she realizes that Nick is like emotionally unstable, but she loves him so much. But it gives that if he didn't bring her to the show, she would have just strung him along, because she really didn't see herself being in that type of relationship because it was just too emotionally exhausting for her. And we saw on the show, he even, you know, went to JR and Sandy's place and, you know, caused a whole scene, which come to find out that's not the first time he's actually done that. Okay, so he basically described Sandy as she's still Coachellaing and I'm like stage coaching, whatever, right? I think it's odd when older men get with younger women and then they act like all of a sudden that younger woman wants to do more, like, I guess older woman things, like, because honestly that to me is all just super subjective. Like, I don't believe I'll ever start partying, whether, like, I don't have kids yet, but I am married and I'm not 30 yet. I just don't feel like I'm gonna stop my life because of a number like age. So I don't know, like when you met her and she was Coachelling, even though she's 20, she could still be Coachelling well through her 40s, you know? So Nick was definitely an emotional wreck. He was an emotional roller coaster completely. And Sandy, I did want to give her props because I know a lot of people talk a mess about how she speaks, but Sandy is the type of person who is extremely careful about what she says because she knows that words can leave scars and she doesn't really want to hurt anyone's feelings. And so I super commend her for the fact that she can speak so well in a way that she won't have to apologize for the things that she said later, because she said it in such a way to where the person will understand it and to where she's not like being mean. You know, some people are just ruthless and no filter and they don't mind that they offend you just to give you advice. Sandy's not like that. She is extremely careful with what she says, and I do admire that trait about her. Okay, moving on to Scotty and Aria. Aria is 25, Scotty's 30, moving in like within the first couple episodes, you know, first episode 1 through 5 before they pretty much switched over. I really didn't care for Aria as much because I genuinely felt like she is selfish. I think that when she moved for her job and not talking to Scotty about it, I think that was pretty selfish. Like, it doesn't matter if even in your mind you're gonna take the job. You're in a relationship with someone and you live with someone, you should consider their opinion and like just bring it to them and you know, from there decide what to do. But to just completely, oh, I'm taking the job and I'm leaving when y'all live together, it's like, that was very like, you know, inconsiderate, I feel like. And of course, if you're going to be married to someone, that's something that's not, you're going to have to discuss things with them, you know? So, but of course, when we move into the mock trial, then we start seeing a little bit more of Scotty and my opinions change. But, you know, just from the first impressions of them and like the first episode 1 through 5, you know, when they were just still together and dating or whatever, I definitely feel like Aria, you know, just lets off this super selfish person who wants things to be a certain way. And I pretty much thought she was like what Scotty actually is. Like, Scotty is my way or the highway. And I thought Aria was like that, but really it's the other way around. So now Vanessa and Dave and Chanel and Micah, we're not going to get too much into them because they left. So you're not going to get my breath and energy like that. But Vanessa and Dave, the only reason I bring them up is because they circle back around for the reunion. But Vanessa is 30, Dave is 34. I thought it was extremely hilarious because Vanessa gave Dave the ultimatum, and literally it didn't take him very long to realize his position in the dating pool. Okay, like I think that that's so funny because people were like, oh no, Dave, he saw those other girls and he was like, oh yeah, no, Vanessa, that's my girl. I don't want any other girl. No, it was very clear to him. He didn't realize it at first, but once Aria said that Dave was her least, like the least connected, that person, whatever, she connected with him the least out of all the guys, he was so surprised because he thought that he connected with her the most. At that moment, he realized that his value in the sexual dating pool is non-existent. Like, genuinely. He realized that when it comes to if Vanessa wanted to get back out there, she would not have a hard time finding somebody else. And so he very much quickly wanted to wrap this up. Like, no, Vanessa, you're right. I don't stand a chance out here. You do, so let me bag you up. That's honestly what it was with Dave and Vanessa, genuinely. Chanel and Micah, Micah's 28, Chanel's 27. I genuinely feel like the only reason that they left is because Chanel didn't connect with Dave like that, and Micah didn't connect with Mariah like that. Like, if they actually, you know, honestly, Mariah, she was talking to Micah like she never really, like, talked to a black guy in that close proximity before. Like, I don't know, it gave very much uncomfortable from her end. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm not gonna spend time on them because they didn't stay. Like, it's very clear that if Micah was matched with a better person, if both Micah and Chanel were matched with better people, they probably would have stayed longer. I genuinely don't think it had anything to do with the fact that they're a strong couple or the strength of their relationship. No. Genuinely, for Chanel and Micah, if they would have been matched with a better people, they would have stayed through the process. So, and Micah, again, 28, Chanel's 27. So, moving on to the trial marriage. So for the trial marriage, Mariah and Micah, like I said, there was no chemistry there. She act like she's never actually, like, been in such close facilities with a black man before. She gave off, she was uncomfortable. She gave off very much off-putting aura. You know, it wasn't very welcoming. It wasn't like they really connected over anything. So, boom, moving on. Not going to talk about people who didn't stay. Again, with Chanel and Dave, there was nothing really, you know, Chanel's just nice, but there was no connection there. And Dave just literally kept talking about Vanessa and how he was ready to go. And Chanel knew that Micah wasn't connecting with Mariah because they were still texting. So it just all kind of came full circle, you know, the way that it happened. Like, please don't make it like with Chanel and Micah, again, it wasn't because they were just this super strong couple when they realized no, they just genuinely didn't like the people they were matched with, and they didn't feel like they were going to get something out of the experiment, so they left. I would love to check in on them today and see if they're married today. I bet they're not. I would love for them to have came to the reunion, but they didn't. You want to know why? Because there's no progress there. Even with Dave and Vanessa at the reunion, it wasn't really much progress. They said they went to go look at rings, but the fact that y'all left the show and didn't get married, or y'all didn't move on, just lets me know that y'all shouldn't have came to the show. So we're gonna move on from them. So now with Vanessa and Nick, obviously with Vanessa and Nick, it was cut short because Vanessa decided to leave. However, I think that Nick having time to himself was actually way more positive, way more of something he needed than anything, because he's an emotional roller coaster. He's the type of person who genuinely does not know how to control his emotions. It's so bad. Like, he'll spill out just everything on everybody, and that's a lot of weight to carry when you're so emotionally unstable, you know. So it's definitely something that I'm glad, you know, of course during the reunion he talked about a little bit. He got help, he's with someone else. Him being with someone else, again, I mean, I guess the reunion is like a year after the show, so maybe that's enough time to heal. But yeah, moving on, nothing there. Sandy and JR, when they were together, I feel like they both were very flirty. And I feel like they both keep saying like, oh, we wouldn't have matched if there wasn't anything deeper. But the fact that y'all didn't even reach out to each other after the show or anything like that lets me know that it was never anything deeper. JR has never been with a YT woman before. And literally that's what he was telling, I believe, Micah or Scotty. No, Micah, like, oh, I've never, whatever. And he kind of wanted to see what that was like. Sandy gave kind of the same thing. She don't go for guys like him. And they both were just trying to get the best out of the experience. I know that they said they didn't do anything sexual as far as like having sex, but I genuinely do believe that they might have given each other oral because they were too close in the bedroom, in my opinion, to have not done anything at all. Maybe, yeah, you didn't go all the way, but y'all definitely did some type of foreplay activity. And they both like made a pact to like, hey, let's take this to our grave, you know? So I don't think that their relationship was appropriate. Like, given the fact, like, let's for instance, if JR was to propose to Zaina, if she would have said yes and then watched that back, they probably wouldn't have moved forward with that marriage. Like, there's a certain level of where you go with this mock trial that makes me essentially believe that you really want to get married, you know? And they both didn't do that. So Zaina and Scotty, I think that Zaina was a pretty good match for Scotty so he can see himself, because Scotty is the one who gave Arya the ultimatum, but genuinely Scotty is not ready for marriage his dang self. So I think that when he got paired with Zaina, he was able to like see himself a little bit better, because Zaina is very good at conflict resolution. And I do want to bring up the fact that like after that party when Scotty came at her, like he was totally wrong. Let's just stop there. He was wrong. He shouldn't have just like bombarded her without actually giving her context first. And I really think that Zaina was lucky the way that it ended, because I know that she was just trying to get to like resolving the conflict, but even still, like that could have went 50-50. Like when she told him to check his spirit, like at that point when someone's already that heated, that could have went 50-50. That could have went either way more up or the way it actually went down. But I'm glad that it went down. But that was when we saw Scotty's true colors, and that's when I started to understand where Arya was coming from. And so I'm like, oh, so yeah, she's like kind of low-key projecting what she goes through with Scotty. Scotty's the one, it's my way or the highway. Scotty's the one who's not very good at listening, and he's quite manipulative. I did see that a lot, like even at the reunion, which we'll talk about in my other video just about the reunion. But I just feel like he's the type that's like, I'm not gonna do everything that you want me to do, but I'm gonna manipulate you into just enjoying the fact that I'm not doing what you want me to do. It's, yeah, it's a little sickening. So, yeah, after watching Zaina and Scotty, I genuinely felt like Scotty is not really ready for marriage. Zaina, at that point in the show, she still was a wild card for me. I felt like I didn't get enough vulnerability or emotion from Zaina. I got the Zaina of I'm gonna say the right things, I'm gonna always be at the right place at the right time. I'm gonna, like, I didn't really get realness or authenticity from Zaina during the show. The reunion is where it all spilled out, but during the show I genuinely just didn't really believe that she had real emotions for JR. Moving to Arya and Caleb. I think it's so weird that Caleb was trying to downplay his relationship with Arya. I do understand. I feel like it was because he knew deep down that he still wanted to be Mariah after this, but at the end of the day, you didn't have to lie about it. Like, you could have just been completely honest and just been real and said, hey, Mariah, I am kind of catching feelings for Arya. I don't see this going past the show, but, you know, she is making me realize why you yourself, Mariah, want to marry me. Because I think that's what it was too. I think Caleb didn't realize how much of a good man that he was. I feel like Caleb felt like all dudes are the way that he is. And so when he got with Arya and Arya was voicing to him how, dang, like, you know, I wish, you know, Scotty had these qualities. Like, you're such a good guy. Like, you're such a good listener. You make me laugh. Like, when Arya was, like, when a whole nother person who barely knew him was able to, like, get close to him and, like, from outside looking in, see what Mariah saw. I think that's what shaped Caleb's opinion about moving forward with Mariah is that he's like, oh, okay, I am that guy. I am him, you know? So moving on. But yeah, that's it, I guess, for my first impressions of their actual relationship, you know, the people the couples that came in there together, and then basically the trial marriage. So thanks for watching. The next video is going to be basically the recap of the reunion and where they all are today. And so if you've made it this far, that means you like it here. So please don't be shy. Go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to like and comment as well. As always, it's your girl Blaise Moet, and this is Moet Gets Me Talking, where we pop the cork and let the conversation flow. So until next time.
Stop bothering me. Stop wasting my time. You mean nothing to me. I can't even lie. Stop bothering me. You're not worth my time. You mean nothing to me. Stop bothering me. Stop wasting my time. You mean nothing to me. I can't even lie. Stop bothering me. You're not worth my time. You mean nothing to me. I pity the fool that try to run up. I would damage your fashion.